Welcome everyone to Allfather Metal. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are here with a very special guest. I always like to say very special guest, but this time it's a very, very special guest. We have the one and only Sina Winter from the band From the Vastland. How you doing, Sina?
Hey man, good to see you. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, no
All good.
problem.
How are you doing? Very good to see you, man.
Doing good. Sina and I last saw each other at Beyond the Gates back in
Yeah,
August in Norway. And
yeah, that's true.
we had a good chat. We went out for some beers before or after
Yeah,
the show,
it was
and
pretty nice weather. That was a surprise in
oh
Bergen,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I wish we could have
Yeah,
done that interview in person, but it was a little early.
yeah,
But
yeah,
maybe
maybe,
next year.
yeah.
Yeah, but we got you today, so that's good. So
Cool.
if just to fill everyone in, from the Vastland just dropped their eighth full-length studio album. It's entitled Tenebrous Shadow. It's on Crawling Chaos Records, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. And it's one hell of an album. I have to say, it's probably one of my favorite black metal albums of the year. And at least it'll be
well,
in the top
cool.
top
Thank
five for
you. That's
sure.
great to hear. Thank you so much.
No problem. So we just wanted to chat today about the album. How excited are you with the release of the album?
I mean, I whenever you have, as a musician, whenever you have a new album, you think, yeah, that's probably, it's gonna be all good, and you prepare yourself. And man, this time, I was preparing everything like from few weeks ago and just, make sure that everything is order, all the posts that I'm supposed to do, and like, in case if people gonna order, the pre-orders like a few weeks back,
Hmm.
but it was uh, like in a good way. I'm saying it was crazy. I was really surprised. The feedback I was getting from the very first time when we released the first single, and then the second one, and then on Friday when we released the album. I was not expecting that, so I'm pretty happy, and it's like I see how like for me also this album is kind of special. I mean, but I'm always like thinking maybe that's because it's my latest work, and I always
Right.
think like most of musicians, they think their latest work is like their best work. But you know, uh, to me, this album was from the very beginning when I was working on it, like right after the last one, kind of like felt something different. And then I see like how the result, was different at the end. And also like the feedback I get from people, and yeah, I'm super happy. Like,
Awesome. That's
yeah,
very cool. So, going back to when you started writing for this album, what's the writing process like for you? Did you start right after the last album, and roughly how long did it take to for everything to come
yeah.
together?
You know, like writing songs for me is like a non-stop thing going on in my everyday life, basically.
Hmm.
So like what happens is like I always write songs, and then as soon as I have enough material for a new album, then I start to think like how I can put them together and shape them as like for one album. So like when we released the last album before Tenebrous Shadow, I already had like 4 or 5 songs, but they were not completed.
Right.
And then out of those 4 or 5 songs, I just picked like two. And then right away, when I was done with the last album before Tenebrous Shadow, Tower album, when I was done with that, I mean, and it's like you are done with the album, you get the master files, and then you have to send it to the label, and it takes a while for the album to be released. And I'm like, as soon as I delivered the file to the label, then I focused on Tenebrous Shadow album.
Right.
And yeah, so like, and then I just continued writing. First of all, I like, I just went through those songs that I had already, and I picked two, and I was like, okay, I have to change some parts, and like because the concept of the album, what I had on in my head, and then I just kept on going, and usually like. I work on two songs at the same time, but not more than that. So I was like working on one song, and like in the process, I had some new ideas. I started another one, and then I finished that one, and then the next and the next. So, but it took me like around 2 years because it was in 22 when we released the Tower album, and then now, a few months ago, I had this album ready. So it took me about 2 years.
Now, are you also deciding on the theme of the album lyrically and things of that nature along the way, or does that come at the end of the process of writing
No,
the music?
yeah, along the way, yeah.
Yeah.
What happens is usually like after like two, three songs, then I already know exactly, what kind of like the image I have in my head.
Mhm.
It's getting like shape and getting like more and more completed with all the details while I'm writing the song. But after like two, three songs, I have the clear image in my head. Exactly, I know what I want, but like how, like the direction I'm going, you know. And that usually, of course, the more you write the song, the more you work on the lyrics, and then so they it's also like you have the song, you know the concept, and then also you start writing the lyrics, and then based on what you have written as like for the music, then it affects your lyrics. At the same time, you write the lyrics, and then that image in your head gets like more and more completed. So it's like they work together.
Together. Yeah. Very cool. And are you writing by yourself or do you write with some of the other members at all? Is there any type of
No,
collaboration?
actually, yeah, from the very beginning, since From the Vastland was like I started the band as a one-man band project
Mhm.
back, in 2010. And then afterwards, when I moved to Norway and started to work with the guys, we just kept everything as it was, like before. So still, I'm the one who writing all the songs. But what we do, and I mean, we started doing this from the very first time when we started to work together. And like I have this demo album ready. Like I record the guitar lines and like the vocals, and I use the drum machine and make this demo album. Then I send it to the guys, to Andre and Kevin for their lines. And but I always tell them, like, I'm not a drummer, I'm not a bass player.
Mhm.
Just feel free. This was my idea. That's what I thought like that works best for this song when it comes to the drums. If you have any better idea, just go for it. Just feel free to use your creativity. And it has been like this all the time. The funny thing is that like at the end when I get the files back from them, it's like 80% the same as I like wrote in my demo for the
Yeah.
drums, like the bass. Usually there is no bass though, but I mean, Andre always asks me like, okay, how do you want the bass? Do you want it melodic, like this way or that way? And like, and now we know each other's taste,
Mhm.
so we don't even talk about that. So I just send them the files and they do, what they think it's better for the song. And always happy. Like I get the files back and I'm always like, and like a lot of times I also got really surprised with like, um, when it comes to drum lines or bass line, I just have some very basic idea, but it's not my instrument. So, but when they listen to the song and like Kevin sent me back the drum for that song, and I said, oh, this part, he had like completely different idea that works much better than what I
Nice.
thought. Same with the bass, Sometimes like there are some songs that start with the bass. There was no bass when I wrote the song, and it was Andre's idea. So he just thought, okay, that works best, and yes, it does. So that's usually like 80%. It's gonna be the same, and the rest is just if they feel like anything, like use their creativity, then there will be some change.
Perfect. Sounds like a really great collaboration then, you
Yeah,
know?
I mean, like that's also very good because we have been working together for long now.
Yeah.
I started to work with Andre 2013 and Kevin 2015. So now we know exactly, we know how our taste is in music, and like we are always on the same page.
Cool. Cool. So musically, where were you coming from with this one? What compared to the last album or some of the other albums, what's changed? What like I can hear it myself, the differences, but I'm wondering, as the creative genius behind this, what were you trying to achieve with this album?
Yeah, I mean, when the album was finished and the label asked me to write a text for the press release, and then I was, you have read the press release text,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, what comes to my mind first, when I think about this album? And like there was like two words, no, nothing more. I was like, this album is very dark and it's very vicious to me, Uh, and that was exactly what happened. Like I see the difference between this album and I mean, it's black metal. It's of course it's dark. There is a lot of like this mythology thing with all the demons and evil and everything. But this is like much darker, both when it comes to the music part of the album and also when it comes to the lyrics. This is much darker than compared to the other albums, and I think that like everything shaped around that being very dark album, and the result is also, I mean, it's my feeling. Like you, of
Mhm.
course, everyone can get their own impression, but like what is it when they listen to it? But yeah, to me, it's a much darker album.
I love the pacing of this album, um, especially, you come to the fourth song, the title track, Tenebrous Shadow, and it just has that really ominous, very slow, kind of
Yeah.
old school, I'm gonna say, Dark Throne, Burzum-ish, kind of creepy, crawly vibe to that song. I really fucking love that song.
Oh,
Specifically to that song, how did that one come about? Being
yeah.
my favorite song.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, actually, I mean, the reason that song is very like a slow pace kind of song is because, like, if you read the lyrics and like the story behind it, it couldn't be like a blast with black metal because
Mm.
Tenebrous Shadow is the story, the original story from the Persian mythology is like this demon that comes like I would compare it. It's not the same, but I can compare it to what like known as a sleep paralysis. Like but it's a demon in Persian mythology. It's a demon that comes during the night and like sit on your chest. But it's more than just what you have on the other side with the sleep paralysis. It's a demon, and it just takes your soul and everything. So and I was just picturing this in my head, like how it is like. This demon is coming during the night when you are like sleeping, and then it it was like a slow pace. I could see him like moving slowly towards the person and like coming. And I had like this experience myself many, many years ago back in Iran. Once I experienced this sleep paralysis,
Mm.
or maybe that demon, I don't know. But I had this experience. So, and also that was, that also helped me a lot when like with the image, because I remember exactly that was a very good experience, and that also helped me a lot to decide, okay, what kind of song I want. Like it was pure darkness, like very evil, and as you say, like ominous. It was very, yeah, it was very very dark and ominous.
I love that idea of the lyrics kind of directing the the root of the music. Is that something you typically do? Like, do you allow the lyrics to drive the pace of the song, or does it depend on
Yeah, it
many
depends.
things?
Basically, you know how it works. Like for guitarists, it's always a riff. You start that riff and then, come. But not all the time. For me, sometimes it's just an image in my head. Sometimes, because, the thing is like, because of the concept of the band, the Persian mythology, I know, okay, these are the stories that I'm really interested in. And I want to like pick them up and make a song about. So I already know, I have some kind of idea what it's all about. And then, that's why it also affects the process of making the song, because I already know like, oh, this story fits perfectly for From the Vastland. So I know what I'm going to write about. But yeah, sometimes it's just a brief, sometimes it's the lyrics, sometimes it's just an image, sometimes, of course, you get inspired by other music you listen to, and then, sometimes it's drum part of a song that you hear, and you're like, oh, damn, that I want to write a riff for this drum.
Hmm.
But yeah, like the two main thing is usually like the guitar riff or like the lyrics.
Cool. Very cool. So what else do you have coming up? The album's dropped. Things are kind of spinning now. People are getting excited. What can fans expect from, over the next few months?
Yeah, actually, I was trying to plan some like gigs, but I was not very lucky the last couple of months, or I mean, now it's gonna be almost a year soon. My health situation hasn't been great, but I'm back on track. So I couldn't plan anything, but now I'm doing it actually. I'm thinking to like probably early next year, I'm gonna play a show here in Oslo, and then I'm gonna also start applying for some festival. You never know, we
Mhm.
don't have any like, booking manager, so it's me doing everything, and I have to like just go through the festival, like try to like just send the application and see if we can play any show. So like the it could be much better if I was like in a better shape and could plan everything for this release, but I couldn't actually, so I had to like be careful. But now I'm back on track, so I'm trying to do it, and then hopefully there are gonna be some gigs. And again, I'm already working some on some new material, so
Already? Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
You are a busy man. I mean, I can't
Yeah,
believe the output of this band is so consistent. Like, you must constantly be writing.
yeah, but that's also like that's what I do every day. Like I'm back from work, and after I like relax a little bit, then I pick up my guitar and work on something, and then I have something going on for a while, and I complete it, and I go to the next. Sometimes I take a like quick break, just like short break for a week or 10 days, just play the same song that I have written or like something just to get my mind fresh, and then I start again. So it's like it's a constantly working on songs. That's why I always have some material. I mean, now I have also like 5 songs, or now I'm working on the sixth one. But yeah, I mean now the album is released. I'm not in a hurry, so I'm gonna keep on working on them, try to make them as good as possible, and then work on the concept and everything. So it's gonna take a while.
Cool. So, last question. So, going back to 2010, when you started this band as a one-man band, um, tell me about the journey. Like, how has that journey been for you personally? Like, I've been with you through that journey this entire time, musically speaking, with each album. I've seen how you've grown as a musician. I've seen how you've grown, as a human being in your life and the things that have been presented to you and how you've overcome those challenges. Um, I would just like to hear from you, how that journey has been and are you at a place now um, that you're happy with, that you're comfortable with?
Yeah, I am. I am. And I mean, it was not easy. I have been going through a lot since I started this,
Mhm.
Uh, back then in Iran, all the problems, and then I had to move to Norway. I had no idea how this worked, as a musician, like having a band, like a real band, not just a one-man band project in your bedroom as it was back in Iran. Yes, I started in 2003. I had the other band releasing the album outside the country, but still, it was just we were just two, and everything was like a bedroom project. But I learned a lot by that, and then I started from the Vastland, and still I was not experienced. I never considered myself like an experienced musician. And then, I moved to Norway, working with these people. They are like They are like professional musicians, and they have been in the scene for long. You know, Andre has been in the scene from the 90s, and Kevin also. They, and like the other guys I used to work with. So I during this time there was a lot that I needed to learn, and it it was of course not easy. You know, it's like a step by step. You don't learn everything by night, but I'm always open to learn. I would love to learn, and then that's like that helped me a lot. I never had like this guard. I remember the first time when me and the guys went to the studio for the first time in 2014 to record our album, like for real. And I was so stressed. I didn't know how it works in the studio, you know.
Yeah.
I couldn't play my own riff. I had problem playing my own riff, and I couldn't believe it, you know, like how it's possible. I have been
Was that
playing this.
was that stage fright or like performance anxiety or yeah.
Probably. I didn't have any, I didn't know like how it works. I remember like the guys were Andre and back then it was Vegar, the drummer. Like we were talking and it's like, "Oh, don't, that's normal. Like first time in the studio, it might happen. And then we just talked and it worked out. Of course, you know, it was like something temporary and then, so like this kind of stuff, like going on a stage for the first time, you know, when in 2013, when I played at Inferno. And you can just like, I'm giving you these two as an example, you know, like how it was. So every time we were releasing an album, I was learning something new when it comes to writing music, you know, like working with these guys and like the production side of the album. Because usually, or like other than like two times when we went to the studio and there was like a sound engineer who mixed the album, the rest has been like me. And that's why some of the quality of the albums are like big difference. And you can also tell like how was my album in 2013 and how is it now when it
Yeah.
comes to the sound mix and stuff. So yeah, quite a journey, I would
I
say.
I would say I was just thinking about this as you were speaking. I was like, moving to Norway, essentially you're just going to black metal university because
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
so much to learn. And
Oh yes,
yeah,
oh yes.
I have to say that, for a lesser man, some of the tribulations and challenges you have been presented would probably crumble a lesser man. So it does speak a lot to your character and your drive. And absolutely, you can hear that drive and character in this latest album. So again, I want to congratulate you on such an
Thank you
incredible
so much.
album.
Thank
And
you so much.
yeah, I encourage everyone, if you haven't checked out From the Vastland, definitely grab this album because it's right up there with some of the best that Norway has to offer.
Thank you so much, Jason. I cannot thank you enough for all your support. You know, you have been supporting me since many years ago. I don't even remember, and so thank you so much, and thanks for this opportunity talking to people out there. And yeah, I also wish you all the best. This Allfather project that you have started, you know, it's
Yeah,
amazing. I love it. Like all reviews, interviews, you know, the articles and everything. It's amazing.
thank you so much. Yeah, it's we've been wanting to do this for a while, so we appreciate your support. And we're going to see you in August, hopefully.
Oh yes,
Yeah, very
can't
cool.
wait for that.
Yeah. If it's not in Bergen, maybe we'll make the trip to Oslo to
Yeah,
yeah.
just you know, think. Also, I always say that you know, just think about the Inferno Festival. Maybe you know.
Oh yes, yes, that's right. Yes, yes. Very true. I think Kim and I we're going to Germany in March to the one of the festivals we went to last year. There's so
Yeah, I
many
mean there are.
festivals I can't remember. I
Yeah,
can't
there
remember.
are a lot of festivals during you know that period of time
Oh
every
yeah.
year. It's crazy. All the festivals in Europe. Yeah.
Costs a lot of money, man.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right, thanks again, Sina. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
And we'll talk to you again.
Yeah. Talk to you soon, man. Take care.
Cheers.